Well, this is it. The final push, the final countdown. We're back on the main street of America, the Mother Road, Route 66 in Joliet, Illinois. Just a stone's throw away from our final destination in Chicago. We have nearly completed the 2,448 official old school miles of Route 66 and then some. And our quest is nearly at an end. Look at this bizarre sculpture right here. It's almost like some kind of Route 66 helmet. It's helping me to get pumped up for the end. We've taken Route 66 through so many landscapes, right? The Mojave Desert, the Mojave Trail, the Santa Fe Trail, the Ozark Trail, and now here in Joliet, Illinois, we are at an extremely iconic crossroads because this is where Route 66 crosses the Lincoln Highway. Dude, that is one of the earliest, if not the earliest, transcontinental highways from New York to San Francisco before the numbering system, obviously. And then you get Route 66 in 1926, kind of displacing the Lincoln Highway as America's most legendary highway. Even though it doesn't go coast to coast, it goes from Chicago to LA or vice versa. And so for 100 years, this intersection right here, this crossroads of two of the most legendary highways in America has been welcoming travelers like us. And yet, look at this, nobody's bothered. Happens every day out here. Dude, that's amazing. Chicago Street and Cass right here in Joliet. The crossroads of America, it should be called. But then again, there's more than one intersection where Route 66 crosses the Lincoln Highway. Because of course there was so much traffic here on Route 66, it was split one way down and one way up back in the heyday. And behold, look at this. It's another crossroads of America right here on Cass and Ottawa. See why we started down here today? I was hoping these legendary intersections would wake me up a little bit. We're getting a little tired. It's okay, we're almost at the end. Look at this, just above the crossroads of America at the Joliet Area Historical Museum. We've got several tributes to Route 66 in mosaic form, in statue form here. In fact, I believe this sculpture is called the Mother Road. Look at that. There's the Santa Monica Pier right up there. The spiritual end of Route 66 in California. Look at this, the Bluebird Motel. Oh, and here's the actual date Route 66 went into operation, November 11th, 1926. A lot of people talk about April 30th. That's the day it got its number. Look at that, the U drop in, the Conoco Tower. The only thing on this statue we haven't been to yet, Chicago. And I love that the sign on the historical museum up there is Joliet, Illinois, US 66. And look at this, for the 100th anniversary of the Mother Road, this is where they chose to plant their Joliet, Illinois Fun Pick Centennial Photo Op. Oh, and look at this in the window, a neon sign that says the First 100 Miles Welcome Center. Because of course, Chicago considers itself the beginning of Route 66 coming from California. I consider it the end. We'll let scientists debate that though. Let's go inside real quick. Oh, wow, look at this. This is amazing. And I just realized something kind of sad. This is probably gonna be our last Route 66 museum on this trip. Dude, I love this photo op right here with that perfect little replica Corvette. Look at this, before we've even really stepped into the museum, here's a little economy car built right here in Joliet. So they were making cars here in town 20 years before Route 66 came along. Safe to say they were definitely on board when the US highway system came through. All right, they got a very big, expansive gift shop over there, and it looks like a lot of museum to see. Oh, and look at this. I was wondering how long it would take, because of course the Joliet prison is here in town. It's the Blue Brothers. Look at that. Elwood and Jake, and they're on a mission from God, which is why you can't sit on them. All right, here's a 1926 Ford Model T, the same age as Route 66. That's the 100-year-old car right here. That's amazing. They got a little bridge there for the kids to play on, and up these Route 66 themed steps. I believe this is where the museum proper truly gets going. And look at this, I really like this right here. Instead of Los Angeles to Chicago, Joliet has put Los Angeles to Joliet, Illinois. It's just amazing looking at all that landscape that we have driven through, 2,400 and something miles all the way up to this point. And as you can see, not far to go. Just the dense urban jungle known as Chicago and its suburbs. This is pretty cool right here. They have a exhibit about Route 66 highlighting 100 years of shops, stops, and stays, starting with some doors and tables from some of their legendary hotels, the Woodruff Hotel right here, and some of the crockery and such like from its dining room. Obviously, Chicago and its surrounding towns like Joliet were far more populated and settled than anything on the western half of Route 66. And so a lot of the classic buildings that popped up just for the road, you know, purpose-built gas stations and things have been knocked down and replaced. A lot of the old stone hotels and things that did cater to Route 66 travelers still survives. And back then, you know, motels and motor courts were fine and dandy and novel and new, but people probably loved staying at one of these places with the fine dining and the nice silverware before heading off essentially into the wilderness back then. Kind of cool getting a little bit of a recap before we reach our end destination. Since we're here anyways, we might as well quickly see what else is on offer. Ooh, look at this. Oh my goodness, they're digging the canal. They're about ready to turn Joliet into a metropolis. Look at this streetcar right here. And wow, look at these exhibits about downtown Joliet, some of the businesses here, some of the old neon signs, the churches, the bands, the civil rights, the promise and the perils. Oh, look at this. And even the Joliet Army ammunition plant right here. Yes, that's hot right there. That's explosive. Oh my gosh, and how many bazookas am I gonna see on this trip? Industry, commerce, yeah. Ooh, stairs. Oh, and I almost missed it in the main room. Look at this. There's a whole exhibit about the big house, the Joliet prison. I believe you can now tour, right? It's like a museum now. I'm saving that for my next trip for sure. We got a lot to squeeze in today going up to Chicago, a lot of traffic to fight through. We've got a hard out pretty soon. Definitely don't need to get trapped in any prisons. I'm glad we stopped and took a peek at this museum though. It's pretty darn cool. Nice to go to one last museum, one last welcome center, one last visitor center before plunging in to finding the end of Route 66 in Chicago, which is less simple than it used to be. All right, and speaking of the end of our route, it's time we started making some progress in that direction. Just make sure to use the restroom before you get back in the car, because the closer to the end, the fewer the facilities. Now look at this before we go. I made London sit in the little tiny car for a fun pic that she did not want to do, and he did not know I was going to pull the camera out for him. And look, he doesn't fit. It's a baby's car. He'll never forgive me. Now look at this. You can sign this Route 66 shield outside of the gift shop, and if you so desire, even get yourself some sick souvenirs. All right, we had a time. We took some fun pics with the Centennial sign out here, and now that we have seen the crossroads of America and entered our last Route 66 museum, it's time to start moving right along. Now, here's a little fun fact about Joliet. This is the home of the original Dairy Queen. We filmed that on our first Route 66 series. Which you can go back and watch from about 9-10 years ago, something like that. And also another fun fact, Joliet is so particular about the pronunciation of their town. Back in the day, they used to have a city ordinance where they would fine you $5 for pronouncing it Joliet. Weird. All right, here we go. Right turn onto old Route 66. This little stretch here going north out of Joliet is going to basically be one of our last little open road stretches before the end. And this is pretty cool. The rich and creamy on Route 66 with the Blues Brothers right on top. There's always been a classic Route 66 stop, and now right in front of it, they have made this Route 66 Park over here. Got some information about the Mother Road. They've got one of those Centennial photo ops. There's a little mock Shell gas pump in front of the playground, and right across Route 66 from Route 66 Park, look at that. It's Dick's on 66, where they have preserved a little section of the original brick Route 66 that used to be in this area. These exact bricks right here that you can still come out here and stand on were the original roadway for this part of the Mother Road. Look at that. You got the classic cars on the roof. I like that one, says California or bust. Apparently that's Dick right there, and this is all in the yard for Dick's Towing right out in front of an original Route 66 filling station. Sorry about the wind. My powers do not yet extend to controlling the weather, but I'm working on it. Dude, I'm loving all this new stuff along the path to mark the route. See, look at that. One last stretch of greenway, of somewhat open road, and we are about to hit the urban streets of Chicago. Oh yes, the wide open spaces have come to an end, and next, the freeway, but only for the parts where it was built on top of old 66. Don't worry, eventually we re-emerged onto Joliet Road, old Route 66, into the city. Dude, I'm surprised to see him going eastbound, and I'm surprised to see him this close to the city, but look at this. Countryside, Illinois, here we go. Another Centennial Route 66 photo op. And look at this, as you can see, we are getting closer to downtown, getting closer to our goal. All right, look at this. We're passing by the Steak and Egger since 1955. And look what they've placed outside along our path. I thought I was in Las Vegas for a second. But no, we just ended up in fabulous McCook, Illinois. Oh yeah, starting to see some familiar landmarks. I'm starting to see downtown on the horizon in front of me. The Loop. Uh-oh, and look at this. Look what's on the roof. That is a big old muffler man on the roof of Cigars and Stripes Barbecue Lounge. There's a lot of names on that sign right there. And look at that, he's holding a chicken wing and a bottle of hot sauce, got some little Frankenstein stitches on his forehead. Dude, that might be our last Route 66 giant of this trip. The Frankenstein stitches remind me. There is a Frankenstein one in Joliet, but we didn't see it this morning. Ah, truck! Oh man, trucks and wieners, what's next? All right, now we're in Cicero because there's the Cindy Lynn Motel. Right there. Hey man, we're in Al Capone's town. Find a safe and call Geraldo. See, I think now you can see what I mean about this part just being very different from the sort of romance of the open road kind of thing out west. Hey, look at that, London right out your window. The old Castle Car Wash. We're almost there. I can see the big buildings. They are filling up more and more of my windshield. All right, I'm putting the camera down for a minute because the drivers are getting worse and worse. That way me and London here can have a moment as we drive towards the end. All right, guys, we're getting really, really close now. It's our final right turn onto Jackson Boulevard. And then it's straight on down to the lake, pretty much, for the end of historic Route 66. Oh, look, there's Lou Mitchell's. Lou Mitchell's, where a lot of Route 66ers have their breakfast before starting their journey when they're starting from Chicago. Those fools, they don't know they're starting at the end. But seriously, it wouldn't be considered the start if it wasn't for the song, right? Well, it winds from Chicago to LA. If he had just said LA to Chicago, everyone would be on our side. All right, we've pretty much done it. We pretty much ended Route 66, but now the hard part, we've got to find a parking spot. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, dude. That is legitimately the easiest I have ever found a parking spot down here on a Saturday too. We're just lucky enough that this Saturday doesn't have any crazy events going on, I guess. Dude, yes, Chicago, as the L train comes rolling by, all I can hear is Christopher Nolan's Batman movie soundtracks. I'm thinking of the Untouchables. I'm thinking about the glory of finally reaching the end of Route 66 down here. But also, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's tinged with a little bit of sadness. I did lose my best friend in December, who would have been here with me at the end of Route 66. Not at this particular time, everything got rearranged. But if Adam the Woo couldn't be with me, I'm glad my other best friend is here. London was saying that after saying, my other best friend or whatever, I should have just showed a stranger this guy and then taken a photo with him at the end sign. He just said there's still a chance, but all of a sudden, look, no one's around. Dude, here it is. This is it. Look at that end. Historic Route 66. Dude, this is amazing. Right here on Jackson and Michigan, the traditional end of Route 66 coming from California. Of course, the traditional beginning going the other way is a block up because they're one-way streets. And even though they remove these stickers every so often, there he is. I have placed our final Route 66 Adam the Woo Memorial sticker. I wish you were here with us, buddy. Just getting a little emotional. Right in front of that bus full of people, it's getting a little emotional. Now I'm laugh crying. I'm laugh crying on Chicago in front of the Chicagoans. Very grateful we had another opportunity, London and I, to do this together. Oh, now I gotta control my emotions a little bit before we ask a stranger to take our picture, so I'm not, thank you. Okay, no one has arrived. So actually, we're going to go around the corner. This was so confusing last time because they had moved this sign over here. They had placed it higher up on the pole. We did find it eventually, as well as the quote-unquote new end and beginning of Route 66 down here on Adams in Michigan, where right in front of the Art Center they placed this new sign right here that marks the end or the beginning of Route 66, depending on how you slice it. This was like shiny brand new last time we were here. It is It has been defaced, it has been stickered, but you know what? That makes it more authentically Route 66 than ever. Look at all those stickers. What's weird is the traffic side, the non-pedestrian side, is actually still pretty squeaky clean looking. That's amazing. Pretty wild. Pretty mind-blowing. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it. We're here. Chi-Town, the Windy City, Chicago. Oh, I gotta put my brain on straight right here. We still gotta go down Adams a little way over here, which of course is also one way westbound because our journey from Los Angeles east to Chicago may have ended. But then again, if you really want to, you can come down here to this sign and begin it all over again, dude. Thar she blows. The traditional begin historic Route 66 sign, just 2,448 miles from here to Los Angeles, where similarly Route 66 used to end officially in downtown Los Angeles and then of course in Santa Monica on a pretty, I don't know, nondescript sort of normal intersection, and then it was ceremonially, kind of spiritually moved, very famously by fans mostly, to the Santa Monica Pier, and it took them a long time to do it, but for the centennial celebration, Chicago has decided to do the same thing, and according to them, no longer is this the beginning and the end of Route 66 here. The powers that be have decided to move the end of Route 66, unofficially, but as officially as they can, a mile away from here. So rather than moving the car, we are gonna hoof it down the street, down Michigan Avenue here, in that direction to Chicago's equivalent of the Santa Monica Pier, Navy Pier, which is among the few places in Chicago I've never been before. And along the way, I'm hoping to see something that I would have been stopping at with my friend Adam. So let's make some tracks. All right, we made it to the corner of Michigan and Wacker here, just where the bridge is. Upper Wacker, I should specify. Lower Wacker, you know, the Dark Knight and Batman stuff, that's down below us. Dude, and there it is right there, the Michigan Avenue DuSable Bridge from the movie The Untouchables. Sean Connery and Kevin Costner meet for the first time right on that bridge. Elliot Ness is all depressed and he's crumpling up that paper and throwing it into the river, and then Sean Connery's a beat cop, Officer Malone, trying to see if there's a way we can walk down across that lower part of the bridge where they were at. Oh yeah, okay, look at this, here we go. First of all, this leads you down to Lower Wacker Drive. You remember this, dude? The freaking tumbler screaming through the streets down here. Heck yeah, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, a little Heath Ledger action. And there it is, there's still a pedestrian. Dude, this is awesome. Everybody's crossing on top of the bridge. They don't know what they're missing. This is it right here. Freaking Kevin Costner and Sean Connery. Dude, that is it. London is now standing right where Malone is standing, played by Sean Connery, right at that end of that first lesson. Here ended the lesson. So here's the thing, Adam and I were supposed to meet up at the end of Route 66 in Chicago after meeting up in other places along the way, and we were gonna do a whole Untouchables filming location video together. It's something we've dreamed of for about 15 years and really hardcore for about 10 years. We were constantly quoting that movie to each other, mostly Sean Connery's lines. This is where Kevin Costner was having a bad day. He's looking at that note from his wife. I am very proud of you. Crumples it up in disgust, throws it over the edge, and of course Sean Connery's walking by as Officer Malone. Dude, they were literally standing right here. I don't know how they have the camera out in space above the water, but this is pretty much the best it lines up. That's freaking amazing, dude. You wanna throw your garbage? Throw it in the trash basket. And of course Kevin Costner's all like, don't you have anything better to do? And Sean Connery says, and I'll quote it the way Adam would always quote it to me, yes, but I'm not doing it right now. It's amazing, man. I really miss my friend right now. I really wish he was here. What a spot, dude. Yes, sir. That's why we couldn't stay in hotel rooms together anymore, because one of us would always go, yes, but I'm not doing it right now. Cold, stamp your feet. You're a good cop, Giuseppe, if that's your name. Puts one of yours in the hospital, you put one of theirs in the morgue. That's the Chicago way. Okay, I'm getting really uncomfortable standing out here on this old metal bridge where I can see the river between my feet. Let us continue on our quest. All right, for a second I was kind of worried that I didn't see any more stairs to get back up, but I see them now. They're over yonder. It is so weird. Oh, look, there's the Billy Goat Tavern. That's the other thing I'd like to do, but I think I need a Chicago native with me. Run around and find all those Batman Begins filming locations one of these days. Oh, this feels so weird. To emerge from beneath the surface back to the open air. I know, I think we're hot on the trail. Hot on the trail to the new end, quote unquote, of Route 66 down here at Navy Pier. Still got a ways to go though. Look at this though. The Museum of Ice Cream. Dude, that last mile sounded a lot shorter way back there. I'm wearing out my shoes. Now I got holes in my socks. Muddy waters. Also a resident of Chicago. Okay, I can see it now. Hope is on the horizon. Dude, the only reason I've never been down here, not even in the old touring band days when we had friends living in Chicago, we would spend quite a bit of time out here, because every single person I know who lives in Chicago or has ever lived in Chicago said, oh, don't go down there. It's a tourist trap. But I'm a tourist. All right, here it is. Freaking Navy Pier. Well, I mean, I guess the pier goes off that way, but you know, there's the Chicago Children's Museum at the beginning of Navy Pier. Sort of the symbol of Navy Pier, which Chicago, according to Route 66 fans, is trying to gaslight people into thinking is the end of Route 66. I don't know if I would put it that strongly personally, but speaking of symbols, I see nothing out here. I see no Route 66 sign, I see no photo op. Maybe it's farther out on the water like the Santa Monica Pier version is, off the road, but I thought maybe it'd be at the furthest drivable point. I guess we gotta keep going. Wait a minute. We're not gonna have to go all the way down to the end after all, because London has spotted it through the trees. The giant Harry Carey's baseball glove. No, I'm just kidding. He knew. The road starts here. Navy Pier, Chicago, Route 66 sign. Supposedly, according to Chicago, this is where you're supposed to begin your journey, and you end it at the Santa Monica Pier at the end of the trail sign, making it, as they call it, the new peer-to-peer route of Route 66. I gotta tell you, standing here at this sign though, at Navy Pier, a lot of people around here. Looks like a lot of fun stuff to do and to see, but this could not feel further from the Blue Whale of Catoosa or Tucumcari or standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. Definitely not a Route 66 vibe down here. And for the first 99 years of its existence, no one considered this Route 66 at all. But you know what? Technically, the Santa Monica Pier is not the end, and yet people have celebrated it as the end for decades. So it's the end now, kinda. And I guess the same thing applies here, right? Or it will do in the future, if it sticks. Either way, we can say we've done it now. We can say we've done it in the centennial year and in the inaugural year of Navy Pier, marking the end or the beginning of the peer-to-peer route. We've done it, boy. We've done it again. High five. Don't leave me hanging like you did in the car earlier. Ha, I told on you. Well, we finally found someone to take our fun picture with the sign, although we never had our fun picture taken together at the actual sign. We took pictures of each other, it counts, we know we were here. Plus, a picture may be worth 1,000 words, but a video contains thousands of pictures. Hey, look at that. It's Chicago's official tall ship, the tall ship Windy. It sure is. And look at that beyond, the lighthouses and Lake freaking Michigan. Gorgeous. All right, well, this really isn't supposed to be an adventure about the Navy Pier or about Lake Michigan or even really about Chicago. This was about completing an epic bucket list quest for the second time, but on the centennial anniversary year of Route 66. And we've done it from California to Illinois and everything in between. Having never been here before though, London and I are going to wander around. I must say that unlike the traditional end of Route 66, at least the Navy Pier option does have a lot of restrooms, which is always good for the weary traveler. Plus, there are 100% more fun houses. Look at this. We even went into a fun photo booth together, believe me. Okay, 19 is a man, but 19 is still enough of a teen. He did not want to do that. Not with his dad, anyway. But he did it out of love. That's the Chicago way. Okay, that's pretty cool. The Chicago dog purse and the Chicago deep dish pizza hat. Look at this, London's dream from last time is finally coming true. A little Chicago pizza in Chicago. Frankie's Pizza by the Slice. All right, we did not walk back to where our car was. There was no way we were gonna do that. And besides, Route 66 isn't about walking, it's about cruising. So we've come back to the beginning of the labyrinth or the end of our journey. This has been a heck of an epic journey and we could not have done it without you. Literally, this channel is completely viewer funded, almost like a PBS show. So if you've enjoyed this adventure, if you'd like to see these adventures continue, please consider joining our Patreon. That's the best way to help keep me on the road. There's also the sick merch store at randomland.com. There's plenty of other social media options to follow us on there, a Facebook group, etc., etc., etc. But just for coming along the journey with us, for watching all the way to the very end, you have made this second journey of a lifetime worth it for both of us. So from my son, London, and I from Chicago, thanks for watching. And in the immortal words of Sean Connery as Malone, we've done our duty. We can go home and sleep well. Man, we should have stopped at the rage cage. We could have thrown some hammers at some glass. And there he lays. The quest is complete.
Don't film me.
Why not? That's what the whole trip is about. He is dead. He lives no more. Route 66 has killed him. Ah! It's taken everything he had. Route 66 has taken everything he had. Go home.